Trinity College, Ireland's oldest and most prestigious university, one of the top universities on the world, and indeed students come from all over the world just to study here. Queen Elizabeth I founded the college in 1592. It is one of the 7 ancient universities of Britain and Ireland, as well as Ireland's oldest surviving university. The university's main campus is in the heart of Dublin. It has been ranked among the most iconic in the world and is the setting for a number of novels, films, and urban legends. As for the famous Old Library, or a long room of Trinity College, it is still a fully functional library and the largest single-chamber library in the world. Inside is just over 200,000 books on display, which have been gathered from over 4 centuries of Trinity College, Dublin history.
The next is Dublin Castle. It is one of the most important buildings in Irish history. The castle was originally developed as a medieval fortress under the orders of King John of England. It remained largely intact until April 1684, when a major fire caused severe damage to much of the building. Despite the extent of the fire, parts of the medieval and Viking structures survived and can still be explored by visitors today. Following the fire, a campaign of rebuilding in the late 17th and 18th centuries saw the castle transformed from a medieval bastion into a Georgian palace. The next place is St. Patrick's Cathedral. It has been part of Ireland's history for over 800 years and today is one of the most popular visitor attractions in Dublin. It was built around 1200 in honor of Ireland's patron saint, and St. Patrick's Cathedral offers visitors a rich and compelling cultural experience and is one of the few buildings left from medieval Dublin. St. Patrick's baptized Christian converts on this site 1500 years ago. It is the national cathedral of the Church of Ireland and the largest cathedral in the country. Jonathan Swift, author of Gulliver's Travels, was Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral in the 1700s, and he is one of many burials on site.
3 great famine memorials. The first is EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum, located in Dublin's Docklands. It covers the history of the Irish diaspora and immigration to other countries. The exhibition is made up of 20 galleries, which are each individually themed and fall under the headings of migration, motivation, influence, and diaspora today. The famine statues as the next. These statues commemorate the Great Famine of the mid-19th century. This limestone memorial was commissioned as a gesture of solidarity with people living in poverty around the world. Last one is Jeannie Johnston with her ship. She carried 2,500 Irish immigrants on 16 transatlantic voyages to North America throughout the famine years. The 6th place takes Oscar Wilde's house and statue. Oscar Wilde was an Irish poet and playwright. After writing in different forms throughout the 1880s, he became one of the most popular playwrights in London. He is best remembered for his epigrams and plays. His novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, is also very famous. As for the sculpture, English sculptor Danny Osborne was commissioned by the Guinness Ireland Group to create a statue commemorating Oscar Wilde. The House of Oscar Wilde. It was within the walls of Oscar Wilde House, Dublin City, that young Oscar took his first steps and where he was educated for the first 10 years of his life.
Famous person connected to the St. Patrick's Cathedral is Jonathan Swift. Known to most as the author of Gulliver's Travels, in which he satirized the vices of humanity. Yet he produced many other satirical poems and pamphlets, including the famous A Modest Proposal for Preventing the Children of Poor People from Being a Burden. Jonathan Swift was also Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral from 1713 until his death in 1745. Today, the cathedral holds many artifacts connected to Swift's time, in cathedral. These include the pulpit from which he preached his long sermons and a table used by Swift to celebrate the Eucharist. The cathedral also has early editions of his writings, including a sermon upon sleeping in church. Then there is 2 of his death masks and a cast of Swift's school.
In his later years, Swift was troubled by imbalance and noises in his ears. This, combined with a stroke in 1742, led many to declare him mad. 90 years after he died, his body was exhumed and examined by Sir William Wilde, a prominent physician in the city and also Oscar Wilde's father. Sir William discovered that Swift had a loose bone in his inner ear, which was the root of problems for him. The skull, which is exhibited in the cathedral, is the remaining of Wilde's work from examination. Lastly, he is buried in St. Patrick's Cathedral, where is also a monument and a bust dedicated to him in Nerby Trinity College Library.
Next 2 monuments are interesting talking statues. First is George Bernard Shaw. He is famous for his role in revolutionizing comedic drama.
He was also a literary critic and a prominent British socialist. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1925. George Bernard Shaw was sculptured by his great friend Paolo Chubetskoy. Shaw's famous words about the importance of art feature on the wall behind, appropriate considering the statue's position in front of the National Art Gallery.
Well, here we are, you and me in the National Gallery of Ireland. I don't know how long you're sticking around for, but I think I'm here for the long haul. I had a very long...
The other interesting and also talking statue is the statue of James Joyce, created by U.S. sculptor Fitzgibbon.
I don't know how I ended up here. I died in Zurich, not here in Dublin. But here I am.
In case of James Joyce, it is important to mention Tower and Museum, which is in Martello Tower in Sandy Cove, Dublin, where James Joyce spent 6 nights in 1904. The opening scenes of his 1922 novel Ulysses take place here, and the tower is a place of pilgrimage for Joyce enthusiasts, especially on Bloomsday.
The next monument is the Samuel Beckett Bridge, a perfect symbol of the vibrant and modern urban landscape of the Docklands area. It has become an iconic landmark of Dublin City. It is designed by the internationally renowned Spanish architect Calatrava. The bridge evokes the shape of the Irish hearth, with its cable stays structure. The bridge is named after the Samuel Beckett. He was an Irish novelist, playwright, short story writer, theatre director, poet, and literary translator. Beckett was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for his writing. His most famous work is Waiting for Godot. Apart from monuments, there is a typical Irish meal. The country's national dish reflects its self-reliant past. A filling, flavorful, peasant dish made with the cheapest, most readily available ingredients. Irish stew reflects the history of Ireland itself. The Irish raised primarily sheep and root crops for subsistence. The sheep provided wool for warm clothing, milk for drinking, and cheese making, and eventually meat after the animal reached the end of its productive years. Potatoes were the main food crop prior to the potato famine. Indeed, it looks like husky goulash with carrot for some Slovak people. For the part of something only the Irish could do, hurling is an outdoor team game of ancient Gaelic Irish origin, played by men. One of Ireland's native Gaelic games, it shares a number of features with Gaelic football, such as the field and goals, the number of players, and much terminology. And I'll let you think whatever you want about this sport, but isn't it quite aggressive?
Something special that probably only Irish could wear is Irish kilt. The exact origins of the Irish kilt is a subject which continues to be debated. Similarly to how the Scottish kilt was worn by Scottish troops on the battlefield, the Irish kilt was worn as protective clothing at this time. The Irish national tartan was introduced during the rise of Irish nationalism and has since been treated as a symbol of Gaelic tradition.
Now I will show you something from Vikings and Irish connections. As for the Vikings, an Irish interesting fact, there is the thing with rabbits. This one is an unusual one, and it's believed that Vikings brought the rabbits to Ireland rather than it being native to the island. The Vikings introduced rabbits to Ireland because rabbits breed with high frequency. They were an ideal source of meat for the Vikings when traveling to Ireland in their long ships. The Vikings are long gone or have blended in, but the rabbits are here to stay. Rabbits in Ireland today can be found in the wild, and domesticated rabbits can be kept as pets. Finally, the home for the Titanic. Titanic Belfast is a visitor attraction opened in 2012. A monument to Belfast's maritime heritage on the site of the former Harland and Wolff shipyard in the city's Titanic water where the RMS Titanic was built. It tells the stories of the Titanic, which hit an iceberg and sank during her maiden voyage in 1912. The building contains more than 12,000 square meters of floor space, most of which is occupied by a series of galleries, private function rooms, and community facilities. When you manage to watch till the end, I would like to thank you for watching my video.